All right, let's get right into it. We've all played around with AI that can chat with us, write an email, or even whip up a crazy image. But what if I told you the real revolution isn't about talking, it's about doing? We're on the verge of the next massive leap in AI, and it's all about action.
You know the drill, right? You give it a prompt, it gives you a response. It's an awesome assistant, a cool creative partner, basically a super powerful tool that just waits for our commands. It's reactive, it's a back-and-forth conversation.
But now, imagine this. What if, instead of just telling you about a trip to Chicago, the AI just went and did it? I mean, booked the flights, reserved the hotel, mapped out your entire itinerary, and then just pinged you at the end for the final yes or no. See the difference? That's a huge shift. We're moving from a reactive assistant to a proactive collaborator, and that, my friends, is the world of agentic AI.
So, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the basics. What is an AI agent anyway? Then, we're going to pop the hood and see how these things actually think. After that, we'll look at where they're already showing up in the real world. And finally, we'll tackle the big one. What does this autonomous future really mean for us?
All right, let's kick things off by getting a really clear picture of this new paradigm.
Okay, so here's the absolute core of it. Agentic AI is not about making stuff, it's about getting stuff done. It's all about achieving goals. These systems are built to look at their environment, take a big, high-level goal, and just break it down into smaller, manageable tasks. Then they execute a whole plan to make it happen. And that phrase right there, minimal human supervision, that's everything. These things are built from the ground up for autonomy.
And this chart, it just lays it out so perfectly. Think of generative AI like a brilliant but kind of passive assistant. It waits for you to tell it what to do. But agentic AI, that's your proactive teammate. It takes the goal, draws up a plan, grabs the tools it needs, and adapts on the fly. I love this analogy. It's the difference between asking for a recipe versus having a chef actually in your kitchen cooking the entire meal for you.
And hey, this isn't some niche, futuristic concept we're talking about. Look at this chart. Search interest for agentic AI just went vertical, starting around mid-2024. And that wasn't random. It happened because of some serious breakthroughs that finally let these language models reliably use tools and APIs out in the real world. That's the moment they went from being just chatbots to being true blue automation engines.
Okay, so how does an agent actually think? I mean, what's really going on in there that lets it plan things out and then take action?
Well, a really popular framework for this is called REACT. Simple, right? It stands for Reason and Act, and it's basically the agent's core mental loop. First, it observes what's going on. Then, it reasons. It thinks step by step to come up with a plan. Then, it acts. And that action could be anything. Calling an API, checking a database, maybe even moving a robot arm. And after it acts, what does it do? It observes the result, updates its memory, and starts the loop all over again, getting a little smarter and a little closer to the goal each time.
Now that whole React loop is fueled by a few key parts. You've got the planning engine. Think of it as the brain, the strategist turning the what into the how. Then there's memory, which is absolutely critical. It has short-term memory for what it's doing right now and long-term memory so it can actually learn from its mistakes. And this is a big one. Tool use. This is how the agent actually interacts with the world, connecting to websites, software, you name it. And finally, of course, it learns. It gets better and better over time, usually through something called reinforcement learning. But you know, just like with us, some jobs are way too big for one person or one agent. And that's where multi-agent systems come into play. It's so cool. Instead of one agent trying to do it all, you build a whole team. You might have a supervisor agent that acts like a project manager. It takes a big goal, say, launch a marketing campaign, and then hands out tasks to its specialist agents. One agent does the market research, another writes the ad copy, a third crunches the analytics. You could even have a critic agent whose only job is to poke holes in the plan. It's literally AI teamwork, and it lets them tackle way more complex problems.
So, I know this might all sound a bit like science fiction, but this stuff is already out there, making a huge impact. Let's take a look at where it's actually changing the game, right now.
Take scientific discovery, for instance. The pace is just being put into hyperdrive. Google DeepMind has what they call a self-driving lab, and it's wild. You have AI agents that can dream up hypotheses for new materials, and then they actually use robots to create and test them, all on their own. They can run thousands of experiments that would take a team of humans months to get through. This is seriously speeding up the hunt for everything from better batteries to life-saving medicines.
And in the physical world, you can think of these agents as the new central nervous system for entire industries. Picture a massive, complex global supply chain. Instead of people frantically trying to track everything, you have a multi-agent system doing it all in real time. It can see a disruption coming before it even happens and automatically reroute shipments to avoid it. It's the same idea behind these new cognitive robots that can actually work safely right next to people on a factory floor. And of course, in the world of business and software, the impact is just massive. We are literally seeing the very first generation of AI employees. These are autonomous systems that can handle entire, complex jobs from start to finish, jobs that used to require a human. We're talking about everything from running a sales campaign to automating huge chunks of software development, from the initial code all the way to testing and shipping it.
So yeah, this is an incredibly powerful technology. And you know what they say? With great power comes some really, really tough questions and challenges that we have to face, and we have to face them now.
And this quote right here, it just cuts right to the heart of it all. As these AI systems get more and more autonomous, the #1 challenge is meaningful human control. How do we build the policies, the software, the guardrails that keep a human in the loop where it matters most, in a way that actually works?
And that one question blows up into all of these huge challenges. I mean, reliability. Can you really truly trust an agent to run our power grid without a single error? And what about safety? Researchers are doing cool stuff like shielded reinforcement learning, which is basically putting a creative AI inside a safety cage of unbreakable rules. But then you get to the billion-dollar question: governance. If an autonomous trading bot crashes the market, who's responsible? The person who coded it? The company that turned it on? These aren't just thought experiments anymore. They are urgent problems we have to solve.
And it's not just us talking about this. Governments are already flagging the highest risk zones. This chart is based on a White House memo, and it shows where they're demanding the absolute strictest oversight. We're talking about AI controlling our power grids and water systems, AI that affects our physical safety, like in self-driving cars, and of course, any AI involved in the military or law enforcement. These are the red lines, the areas where there is zero room for error.
So, that's where we are, standing right at the beginning of this new agentic era. And it all comes down to that one final massive question on the screen. When an AI can run a factory, or pilot an entire fleet of cars, or discover a new drug all by itself, who is really in control? The promise here is incredible, but it forces us to completely rethink our relationship with technology and to really decide what does it mean for us to be in control.